Hey, what's up, everybody? This is a message to everybody considering the protest or supporting me at the protest physically, or whether it was just by sharing it and getting it into people's attention of what's going on in this state of Nevada right now and what they've been doing to me for 11 years on national television. It's pretty serious. So kind of want to just give everybody like a quick little rundown of what it is that this protest represents and what it is that they've been doing to me in the process to get to this protest. So um, on February 19th, 2015, I was arrested um, because someone made a statement against me saying I allegedly told them I did a crime for murder. And a week later, when they gave this statement after the crime had happened, my house was raided. I was arrested. I got high in front of police before getting taken into custody. They monitored me. They testified to it. Said they watched me get high. All this stuff. They never drug tested me. Never sent me to detox. They just, cut the audio off in the car. The detectives did. Detective Clifford Mogg and his partner cut the audio off in the car, and then, got to threatening me, coercing me. It's kind of, memory's a little foggy. I was super high, so, however, the main thing that ended up getting an intoxicated confession out of me after over an hour was the fact that one of the threats they made was that they were going to arrest my mom for accessory to murder, and put my, at the time, 2.5 month old little sister in Child Protective Services for being in an unsafe and unstable environment. And so after an hour of denying this, once we got to the station and they were interviewing me, I finally, gave them less than 5 minutes of a intoxicated confession based on, some of their coerced information and stuff I had been seeing from the TV, all because it was all over the news, and it happened, about like 60 seconds away from my house. So anyway, so pretty much they arrested me on the intoxicated confession. 3 weeks later, I have a grand jury indictment in justice court for these charges. The grand jury tried to indict me on the charges for murder, or open murder, attempted murder with use of deadly weapon, and then discharge of firearm within use of structure of a vehicle. Were the three charges that they were trying to indict me on based on the intoxicated confession. However, the daughter, which is the victim's daughter, who's the only survivor in this, or Tammy was the only person who died, but she was the only person in this entire case who actually said she saw the suspect. So she goes and she gives her description of the suspect. Nothing close to me. Height almost, over a foot off. You got weight is probably almost 100 pounds off. She says he has no tattoos. I had two half sleeves. She said he has no ear piercings. I had both ears pierced. She also says that she knows who I am. If it was me, she would know it was me. She's 100% positive it's not me. And I wasn't there that night. Completely clear. This was at the grand jury indictment. She testified to all of this. And the grand jury still tried to and then she says that the person that she saw was by themselves. She testified to all of this. So the grand jury still tried to indict me on the intoxicated confession. But the judge, Conrad Hafen, was like, you can't indict him on this evidence because it's illegal, so you can't do that. So the judge put a motion in to dismiss the case. And the motion was set for March 9th, 2015. This grand jury indictment was March 6th, 2015. So 3 days later, it was on a Friday. So on the Monday, was the day his motion was going to be heard. And if the state hadn't submitted any probable cause or any new evidence that had probable cause, the case was going to get thrown out, because you can't indict somebody on an intoxicated confession, especially not when you have the only eyewitness clearing this person of being a suspect. So, March 9th comes, the judge, his motion is granted. All three of my charges were dismissed. The case was closed. They canceled my preliminary hearing. I was ordered to be released from custody, and nobody told me. Nobody told me anything. For anybody who doesn't know the justice system, a grand jury indictment is only allowed to have the DAs, which is the prosecutors, and the victims testifying, or detectives testifying to the DAs in the court to why this person that they're saying, talking about should be, charged with these charges. And so what the state did was they kept this information from me, and they got my lawyers to turn on me and screw me over, because I had, really bad mental health, and I was young. I was a teen. I was 19 years old. I didn't know any better. So I didn't know. Like, I've never been convicted of nothing in my life, so I didn't know about any of this. So they took advantage, and they buried it, and they went ahead, and 2 weeks later, on March 20th, 2015, my alleged co-defendant was being charged because of evidence that they recovered from the crime scene. I guess was a soda can with his saliva on it. So they picked him up and were indicting him for that. And in his indictment on March 20th, 2015, it was a superseding indictment by Linda Marie Bell, was the judge. And the state tried to say that that indictment was for him and for me. And it was adding a charge of conspiracy to commit murder. But because I never knew that everything was dismissed, and I never knew that I was supposed to be released, I was ordered to be released from custody and everything, which you can see from the documents on my page, and all my social media pages. I had no idea. So they forged my name on that superseding indictment, made me believe in everybody in the world, because anybody who looks at this case will see their argument is I was charged by superseding indictment on March 20th, 2015, which was done by Linda Marie Bell. The indictment's on these pages. And if you look, the same judge, Linda Marie Bell, at the time, she was a district court judge. She is now, as of today, a Nevada Supreme Court judge. And just last year, in January, in the beginning of last year, she sent me a voluntary disclosure because I asked the courts during my, fighting this case, because I've been told I don't have no case file, and nobody's had a case file for me since I got sentenced. So I'm trying to figure out how is it I've been fighting the case without a case file. This explains why I never got any discovery, and all these times it was brought up in court and the media talked about it. This is why. The case didn't exist. So because it's a ghost case and the case technically doesn't exist, they're using, fraudulent documents to go about, but you can't really run a legitimate case on this because it doesn't exist. It was only for my alleged co-defendant. It had nothing to do with me. So it was all staged. And so the judge contacts me when I'm seeking these, all information on her indictment, which they're saying that I have, that you can see on the page. They're saying I was indicted by. I requested all information pertaining to that indictment, and they contacted Linda Marie Bell because they didn't know what else they were supposed to do because I had nothing to do with it. So they contacted her to let her deal with it, and that's when she sent me the voluntary disclosure and told me that she presided over that indictment, and I have nothing to do with it. She says I made no substantive rulings. For anybody who doesn't know, substantive ruling is a legal decision. So then when I put a motion in to preserve my 7-day right to disqualify her, which you can see all these documents on this page, I put the motion in to preserve my seven right to disqualify her because I had 7 days from that voluntary disclosure to do so as a party to the case. You can see it right on there, case number, everything. So once she sent that disclosure, I think it was like 2 days later after I got it, I submitted the motion for an extension of time to investigate her disclosure, preserve my 7-day right to disqualify her. About a week or two later, I think it was February 14th of 2025, the Nevada Supreme Court, because she's a Supreme Court judge, so I had to go to Nevada Supreme Court with the motion. They don't deny the motion, they reject it. And they say the rejection reason is you're not a party to the case. You can see it right on this page. And look at the case numbers, 304831. That's the murder case. That's what I'm sitting in prison for right now. And she's saying that document is fake. If you look at the two signatures, you could tell they're different. Someone for sure forged her signature. And now she's saying it, and then the Nevada Supreme Court backs it up. So I submitted these arguments in my informal brief to the Nevada Supreme Court for my appeal, and the state had until March 9th, 2026 to respond. That was their deadline. They did not respond, automatically forfeiting the case. NRS 31B2 clearly specifically states that it's listed consequences for respondents' failure to file brief or appendix. And it flat out says you lose your whole right to argue. It can be treated as a confession of error, and the courts can grant the appeal without even considering the merits, just based on the fact that they didn't respond, because and that's like unheard of. Clerks, when I call the Supreme Court, they sound shocked because you don't see the state not respond to something like this, especially the accusations I'm making. So, which they're not just accusations, but in terminology for this conversation, because it's still pending. But anyway, not to get off track. So everybody who's standing up for me is and who's supporting me and coming to this protest is going to be there for the purposes of why am I still in custody? It was submitted for decision March 10th, the very next day after the state forfeited. On March 10th, you can go on the Nevada Supreme Court website, type in 91056, it'll pull right up. You can see it. The state didn't respond. It was submitted for decision. They've had 3 months as of now to release, release me. Why am I still in custody? Why am I still sitting in prison? I got metal shards being fed in my food. I'm working on getting the either pictures or video footage of my people that I sent it to in the mail, like full metal shards, like sharp metal shards of metal in my food, and it wasn't just me, it was the whole prison. It was a whole kettle worth. I used to work in the kitchen. I've been addressing the issue for.
You have 1 minute remaining.
It's not just about the ghost case. It's about everything in general. It's about the ghost case. It's about the slow attempted murders that they're causing on all of us with metal in our food, which has been like I said, an issue for over a year. It's like they mistreat everybody. They put people in positions to get killed. They beat people up, and then when they die, they try to say it's natural causes to the news, or that they OD'd when they know damn well it's not. This is the environment I'm in, and they've made multiple attempts in my life. I can't get no medical help. Nobody will see me. My people have been blowing medical up. The wardens, directors, family services. And they won't help me. They won't send me to hand rehab for my broken hand after my surgery. Took 2.5 months just to get the surgery. I've lost all the feeling in my pinky. It's fully dysfunctional.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Yeah. So medical wise, yeah, it's I'm being neglected medical. They won't help me for my spine. They diagnosed me with scoliosis about 4 years ago. They will not help me. They won't give me a back brace. They won't give me a medical mattress. They won't even give me an extra mattress. They won't do anything. They just try to offer everybody IBUs. Like, that's their answer. You get bit by a poisonous bug, we'll give you some IBUs. Like, what is that? What is an IBU gonna do for a wound full of venom? Like, these people are crazy. Like, it needs to be investigated. What's going on out here in this state is not okay. These people are operating ghost cases. If you look my social security number up in any justice system, any federal system, anything that will show you through my social security number what what's attached to it, charges that I've ever been convicted with, anything, you will not see any murder charges or anything to this murder case attached to my social security number. I have physical proof of it. I can prove it. So when I called the public defender's office who did my sentencing, after I got this judge's voluntary disclosure, so it had been approximately 8 years since they did the sentencing. I contacted them. They haven't represented me since. I contacted their office, and when you call a public defender's office out here in Nevada, I don't know in other states, but out here in Nevada, the first question they ask you is, what's your social security number? They don't look you up in their system by name. They look you up by social. And so I give them my social security number. This happened on multiple calls. I got multiple different recorded calls of this because it's to their office, not to the lawyer themselves. So the calls are not private. They're still recorded. It tells you when you call. So I give them my social, and then they ask what my name was. I told them what my name was, and then they'll say, what's your charges? I said, well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So the lady's looking through the system, and she's like, yeah, she's like, so we charged you, we represented you for assault with a deadly weapon charge. And that case was closed in 2019. You were sentenced to 18 months on a plea deal. And so I'm like, just okay. And then I was waiting for her to say something else. And then she was like, she got quiet. She hears me getting quiet. She's like, I'm sorry, is that not what you're looking for? And I'm like, no, like, what else did you guys represent me for? And she was like, nothing. And I'm like, what are you sure? Like, you guys never represented me for anything else other than that charge right there. And she's like, I'm sorry, that's not the charge you're looking for? I'm like, no. I'm like, you guys never represented me for any murder charges? And she was like, no. And she's like, let me look, but I'm looking at everything. No, we never. And I'm like, I give her the case number. Well, what about under this case number, 304-831? She's like, no. She gives me the assault case number. It's like 306, some. Like, it's a whole different case number. It's on the page. You can see on my page from the docket. You can see that case there, but it's not even the same case. It's two totally different cases, and I'm not even guilty of that case either. And I'm trying to prove my innocence and give the evidence to the court on it, and they won't. Nobody will help me. None of the lawyers will help me. Nothing. So, the fact that these charges don't even exist and I called back multiple times spoke with multiple different clerks up there in the public defender's office. They all say the same thing every time. Like, yeah, we never represented you for that. Like, so I'm literally in here under a ghost case. I got the charging judge, who they're saying was the one who I got the charges from, her indictment that got me into prison. That judge is saying that's not true. The Nevada Supreme Court saying that's not true. The Justice Court saying that's not true. And now I got the public defenders saying that did my sentencing saying that that's not true. Not the public defender specifically, but their office, their firm, looking me up my social security number. Last year, my mom got a letter in the mail for me, because that's where I was living, got a letter in the mail for me calling me for a jury selection. I'd been down for 10 years at the time, and I got called a letter in the mail calling me for a jury selection to go do somebody's trial. Like, I'm technically not even in the system. Like, it's a ghost case. Like, I'm literally a ghost in the system. I'm just sitting here under a bunch of fraud, and it's been submitted for decision for 3 months. The state forfeited the case. The Nevada Supreme Court's already shown it, through their own admissions that I'm being falsely imprisoned. But at the time, they said they couldn't do anything because they didn't have jurisdiction. But that was over a year ago. Now it's their jurisdiction, and then they just transferred it 35 days after submitting it for decision. They transferred it to the Court of Appeals because they told me for case overload. And now I've been in the Court of Appeals for like 2 months. So it's like what's going like this? This is crazy. So everybody who's helping me, supporting me, paying attention to this, like, I'm not the only person in Nevada they're doing this to. I'm just the first one who's come with some proof and actually has physical evidence of it. And my evidence can't get any bolder. All the evidence in this case has proved my innocence. All of it. And they saw that. And that's why they never aired it. There's no gun residue on any of my clothes that I had on that night at the time of the crime. But there's gun residue in the passenger side of my last co-defendant car where they were trying to indict me for. Literally. Like, how is there gun residue in the seat you guys said I was sitting in, but there's no gun residue on the clothes I got on? That's impossible. And then the eyewitness clears me in the grand jury indictment of being there. And then my cell phone towers show me blocks away from the crime scene at the time of the crime. Well, my last co-defendant's cell phone tower showed him all over the scene at the time of the scene. This is all the evidence that they have, and they still did what they did to me. They knew I wasn't part of this, and they got cell phone text messages from my alleged Cody telling me he was busy that night. He couldn't give me a ride previous to anything even happening. So, and that never changed. He never came and texted me and said, "Oh, I can give you a ride," and nothing. Like, that was the end of our conversation for the night. Like, so all the evidence shows that I didn't do this, and yet, even in intoxicated confession, none of the evidence. I said I shot 36 rounds off at the murder scene, because there's 2 different shooting scenes. At the murder scene alone, I said in my intoxicated confession I had 36 rounds off. They found 7 rounds at that crime scene. 7. Like 20. What is that? 29 rounds off. Like, you don't mistake something like that. Like, nothing I said even made sense. But nobody investigated my case. Nobody did anything. Everybody just took what they saw and what the state was saying and that intoxicated confession and ran with their own rumors about this and blasted me on national television, world news, British tabloids, Good Morning America, Review Journal, front pages, national section, United Kingdom newspapers, Free Network, ABC 2020, Inside Edition, 60 Minutes, Court Cam. Everybody's just doing all these things, wrote a book, like, all these things. And it's crazy because none of it is true. And it's been going, it's been fake for over 11 years. And I'm still sitting in custody, and it's being admitted by the state, the highest people in the state and the most important people of the case, all clearing me, and yet 3 months later, I'm still sitting in prison since they've had the ability. So I need noise, I need attention, I need people. They're trying to keep this in the dark. They're trying to sweep it under the covers. It's bigger than just false imprisonment. I got a lot of medical issues I'm dealing with right now. Between my broken hand, my spine, I have cholesterol and heart murmurs, high blood pressure. I take medications for this. I've had it my whole life. So there's a lot of things going on. Then I got these people harassing me, doing weird stuff to me, trying to set me up. So it's just, they're trying to silence me, and I'm trying to make noise to get me out of prison, get me out of here. Like, why am I in prison? So I'm super grateful for everybody paying attention, everybody tuning in. Share this story, talk about this story. I want to do, willing to do interviews with anybody. I've done one with Lamont Dorsey already. Check that out at Lamont at Large. You can see it on there. I have the link with my interview on this YouTube channel. Check that out. I'm willing to do interviews with anybody who wants to do them. If you do them while I'm still in custody before I'm released, I'll do them for free, because that's my appreciation to get my voice out there to help get me out of here faster. Because the second people start talking about this on the TV or talking about it and sticking their noses into this case, trying to look into it, that's when I know they're going to release me. But the longer it stays quiet, the more they're going to take advantage of this, and they're going to keep me hidden under the rug. So my protest, as you can see, June 29th, 10 a.m. outside of the Justice Courthouse. I appreciate everybody in attendance. I appreciate anybody who just is, even just sharing this just to get the story out there. I could use all supporters, all help. Everybody that can. Like I said, this is bigger than me. The protest may be for me, but it's bigger than me. The second I'm released, they have to look into everything that's been involved with my case, which will lead to multiple other people's release as well, of people who were also framed for stuff that they didn't do and are in here under ghost cases. Because I know some individuals in here myself. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't know, and they lie to you guys, because when lawsuits come, it comes out of taxpayers' money. It doesn't come out of their pockets. So they don't care about doing what they're doing, because they're not the ones who have to pay for it. The only thing they have to deal with is the criminal charges, but they never think that this type of stuff is going to ever come to light. And that's why they're so comfortable doing it. So I thank all my supporters. Share this, talk about this. Everybody was speaking about this when it first happened. I mean, all the people I've named, I couldn't get my face off the TV or the newspaper, no matter how bad I wanted to. They still play my 2020 on Oprah Winfrey Network in here since I've been down, and they still do multiple times a month. So if everybody's gonna,
you have 1 minute remaining.
Then let's speak on the facts. Let's speak on the truth, and I'm giving that to you. So please protest. This is serious. This is a very urgent matter. I turned 31 in 2 months, and I really don't want to be in here for another birthday. I'm not even supposed to be in here for the first 11. So please use your voice, and thank you to everybody out there. I appreciate everybody. For real, thank you. Thanks for all the support and all the attention, and I'm forever grateful. Amen. That's everybody out there. Also, I forgot to mention a couple things. One, I have a petition, as you can see on my page. All signatures needed, as many as possible. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. If you sign, it counts, no matter where you're at in the world. So all signatures are definitely needed. It's petition's very clear about what it stands for. It's also, what I was, speaking on, is to get a fair look into the case and get me out of here. And then I also wanted to bring to everybody's attention, just so people can understand, it hasn't just been a false imprisonment. It hasn't just been a kidnapping and intrinsic fraud and a ghost case. They've been trying to demolish my mental health and take advantage of it and kick me in while I'm down on the mental health as a weapon. Like, they're using it against me. And the reason I say that is because when I got sentenced, the judge court ordered the DAs, it was Michael Villani was the judge, court ordered my public defenders to turn over my sealed juvenile mental health records to the DAs, in which they went and twisted words and things that happened around while I was highly medicated on 21 medications from 5 years old to 12. Yeah, this is not exaggerative. The records show it. I was on all types of stuff at once: lithium, Depakote, Adderall, Seroquel, Ritalin, every like literally like lithium, like everything you can think of. I was on like all these medications at one time from from 5 years old until about 12. Almost cost me my life in sixth grade and everything. Had a brain seizure and all that. I was messed up. Like these medications it was crazy. It's crazy that I even survived and I'm partially as normal way as I am today. Like after going through and having all that in my blood for my whole childhood. So they use those things to turn around and, you know, try and get me life sentences and lie on me and call me a homicidal maniac in sentencing and all this stuff. Like, and then now the judge from now, which if you go to Nevada Supreme, you can see on my page as well, I have the pictures from the Nevada Supreme Court case number. It's like 90632 or something like that. You can see that I had no sitting judge in the whole time I was in the county. So you can see on my documents that it shows I have no arresting officer, no submitting officer when everything was dismissed by Judge Hafen in Justice Court March 9th, 2015. And then you can see as of just last year, the courts from the Nevada Supreme Court, and you still go on and look it up right now and it'll show that there's no sitting judge in the record under case number 304831, which is what I'm sitting in prison for. So there's no sitting judge. The only judge in existence cleared me of it. Nevada Supreme Court clears me of being a party. And then you got the Justice Court clearing me of all charges and closing the case. With all that pops up online too. You can see all that on there as well. So the judge that is the only one on register, which was for my writ for habeas corpus, which is post-conviction after sentencing before Nevada Supreme Court, where I'm at now, she would set hearings and court dates for me, and then cancel them literally hours before the hearing or the night before without any notice at all to me or my people, and have my people missing work to come up there to be in court, and then miss their work and then drive up there for nothing. And she would do this. She did this countless times to the point where my support system dwindled as far as people being present, because people kept thinking that she was just going to cancel the court right before it happens, or the hearing, and it made people not want to come, because they're like, we can't keep taking off work and, you know, wasting our time and gas driving up there just to find out like that it got canceled. And so she was doing stuff like that to, you know, destroy my support system. And I got transcripts of all this stuff because I kept addressing it to her on record. She still just kept doing it. They even did it to me on April 1st. Happy Fool's Day. Like, it's sick. Like, yo, these people have been playing and saying that was for my evidentiary hearing about not having a case file for me to be released. But she also allowed the DAs to go serve my subpoenas to all of my witnesses, and which were all lawyers, and then the DAs didn't even have any participation from the district court to do it. Then come to find out, after the chief judge of Nevada Supreme Court ordered record of appeal right before I filed my brief with them, which is also on this page. You should check it out. Nevada admits to fraudulent, scam ghost case on Erich Nowsch. Check that video out. That's my informal brief that I'm talking about that they didn't respond to. And the record of appeal shows those subpoenas were never filed. So they staged an entire hearing. If you go on Nevada on LexisNexis, Nevada Nowsch versus State, go to Nowsch versus State on LexisNexis, you will see there's only 2 appeals in the system's record ever. None of the other ones even exist in LexisNexis. Only those 2. They're from last year, and you'll see that they even said that no order was submitted on that evidentiary hearing, or nothing in the docket shows that evidentiary hearing taking place December 11th, 2024. And you can see I got the transcripts from the testimonies of the lawyers on my page right now showing that they were testifying on each other, saying that they didn't get the file from each other, and nobody had a case file sent from the trial lawyers, or nobody had anything like. So it took place, but the records, it was staged. The subpoenas. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention so that people could see the type of things they've been doing to me in the process. And this is what they do. And they're going to continue to keep doing things to harass me, including while I'm in ADSEG right now, in isolation for my own safety until I can be released from prison from these, this, state's abuse and attempts on me, sending lieutenants at me with death threats and all types of stuff. But the hole that they have me in, they got me in here where, a bunch of psych patients screaming out their door, kicking on their door all night, all day, and it's like a psych patient hole. And so they put me back here to try and, make me crazy and, just mess with me. So I just want people to understand protest is serious, and there's a lot more in the mix of just, a ghost case. It's all the things that's happening in the process. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Please show your support. Show up. Use your voice. Do whatever you can. Journalists, podcasters, reporters, interviewers. I don't care where you're at in the world. My story's your story. If you can come interview me while I'm still in here to help me get out of here faster. I appreciate everybody. Thank you.